You wake up every morning carrying invisible weight. Nothing dramatic happened, yet something feels off. Your mind is loud, restless, impatient. You move through your day reacting instead of choosing. You blame circumstances, people, timing. But deep down, you know the discomfort is internal. The Stoics would say this is not life attacking you, it is your judgments misfiring. Marcus Aurelius warned that most suffering comes not from events, but from the meaning you assign to them. You feel tired not because life is heavy, but because you resist it. You chase motivation, relief, distraction, yet none of it lasts. This is because you are trying to feel better without becoming stronger. Stoicism does not promise comfort. It offers control, and control begins with identity. Are you a man ruled by impulse or a man guided by reason? Are you living deliberately or drifting unconsciously? The discomfort you feel is not a flaw. It is a signal, a reminder that your mind has grown undisciplined. Seneca wrote that a man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. If that describes you, understand this clearly. Peace is not found by changing the world. It is built by mastering yourself, and that work begins now. Your greatest enemy is not outside you. It does not argue, insult, or attack directly. It whispers, it rushes you, it pulls you toward comfort and away from effort. The Stoics understood this enemy well. Epictetus called it the untrained mind, a mind that reacts before it thinks, a mind that seeks pleasure and avoids discomfort at all costs. This is the root of daily unhappiness. You wake up already behind because your thoughts are uncontrolled. You allow moods to dictate behavior. You allow minor frustrations to steal your focus. Over time, this weakens you. Not physically, but internally. The modern world feeds this weakness. Constant stimulation, endless comparison, immediate gratification. But Stoicism demands the opposite: restraint, awareness, discipline. You are not disturbed by what happens. You are disturbed by your interpretation. Until you understand this, nothing changes. The mind must be governed like a city. Without order, chaos spreads. With structure, calm follows. Stoic habits are not tricks. They are systems of control. They train you to respond instead of react, to pause instead of panic, to act from principle instead of emotion. This is not about feeling good. It is about becoming unshakable. Number 1. Control the first thought. The first Stoic habit is learning to intercept your initial reaction. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your first thought is chaotic, the rest of the day follows. You cannot stop impressions from arriving, but you can decide whether to accept them. When something frustrates you, your first thought often exaggerates. It predicts failure, disrespect, loss. This is where discipline begins. Pause. Do not argue with the thought. Observe it. Ask whether it is useful or destructive. Epictetus taught that events are neutral, but our judgments are not. By questioning the first thought, you reclaim authority. This habit requires practice. At first, you will notice the thought after it has already influenced you. That is normal. Over time, awareness sharpens. You begin to catch the reaction earlier. This creates space. In that space, you choose composure. You choose restraint. This does not make you passive. It makes you precise. You respond based on reason, not impulse. Each time you intercept a destructive thought, you weaken its power. Calm is not an accident. It is a trained response. The man who controls his first thought controls his direction. This habit alone reduces daily suffering because most distress is self-created. Master the beginning, and the rest follows naturally. Number 2, voluntary discomfort. The second habit is practicing voluntary discomfort. Seneca advised occasionally living as if you had nothing, so you would never fear losing comfort. Modern life avoids discomfort entirely. This creates fragility. When inconvenience appears, the mind panics. Voluntary discomfort reverses this. You choose mild hardship on your terms. Cold showers, physical exertion, simplicity, delayed gratification. These are not punishments, they are training. When you willingly face discomfort, your mind learns a powerful lesson. You survive, you adapt, you remain steady. This builds confidence that no comfort can provide. The Stoics believed luxury weakens the spirit, not because pleasure is evil, but because dependence is dangerous. If your peace depends on ease, it collapses under pressure. Voluntary discomfort strengthens your internal foundation. It teaches you that comfort is optional, but character is not. Over time, this habit reduces anxiety. You stop fearing inconvenience because you have rehearsed it. You stop chasing pleasure because you are not enslaved by it. The goal is not suffering, the goal is resilience. When life becomes difficult, you remain composed because difficulty is familiar. This habit grounds you, it strips away excess. What remains is clarity, strength, and self-respect. Number 3, daily negative visualization. The third Stoic habit is negative visualization. This is not pessimism, it is preparation. Marcus Aurelius reflected daily on loss, illness, and death to maintain perspective. When you imagine things going wrong, you remove their power to shock you. Most anxiety comes from unexamined fear. You avoid thinking about loss, yet fear it constantly. Negative visualization brings fear into the open. You calmly consider what could be taken from you. Health, status, relationships, possessions. This reminds you that everything is temporary. Instead of causing despair, this creates gratitude. You appreciate what you have because you understand its fragility. You also become less attached. When setbacks occur, they feel familiar, not catastrophic. This habit strengthens emotional stability. You stop demanding permanence from temporary things. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. By imagining loss deliberately, you suffer less when life changes. You also become more present. Each ordinary moment feels valuable. This practice aligns your expectations with reality. Life becomes calmer because you are no longer negotiating with fate. You accept uncertainty as natural. This acceptance reduces tension. It allows you to live with quiet appreciation rather than constant fear. Number 4, speak less, observe more. The fourth habit is disciplined silence. Epictetus advised speaking only when necessary and with purpose. Most people speak to discharge emotion, not to convey truth. This weakens authority and clarity. When you speak less, you observe more. You notice patterns, you understand motives. You hear what is unsaid. Silence creates composure. It prevents regret. It also reduces mental noise. When you restrain speech, you restrain thought. This habit builds inner stillness. You stop narrating every experience internally. You allow moments to pass without commentary. This is powerful. The calm man does not rush to respond. He listens, he considers, he chooses words carefully. This does not make you distant. It makes you deliberate. Over time, your presence changes. People sense restraint. They sense control. More importantly, you feel grounded. You are no longer pulled into unnecessary conflict. You conserve energy. Silence also teaches humility. You accept that not every opinion requires expression. This frees you from ego. When you do speak, your words carry weight because they are rare. This habit aligns you with reason instead of impulse. Calm becomes your default state. Number 5, end the day with judgment. The final Stoic habit is nightly self-examination. Seneca practiced reviewing his actions each evening. This habit builds accountability without cruelty. At the end of the day, you ask simple questions. Where did I act with discipline? Where did I fail? What triggered emotion? What can be corrected tomorrow? This is not self-punishment, it is refinement. Without reflection, patterns repeat. With reflection, progress becomes inevitable. This habit trains honesty. You cannot improve what you refuse to see. Over time, this review sharpens your awareness during the day. You act more intentionally because you know you will evaluate yourself later. This creates integrity. You stop lying to yourself. You become consistent. Each day becomes a lesson. Even failure becomes useful. The Stoics believed progress mattered more than perfection. Nightly judgment reinforces this. You measure effort, not outcome. This reduces shame and increases resolve. You sleep with clarity because the day has been processed. The mind rests when nothing is avoided. This habit closes the loop. It transforms experience into wisdom. Over time, you become calmer because nothing is wasted. Every day strengthens you whether it feels successful or not. These habits do not make life easier, they make you steadier. There is a difference. Ego seeks control over others. Stoicism seeks control over the self. Chaos comes from resistance. Calm comes from alignment. When you practice these habits, you stop demanding that life obey you. Instead, you discipline your response. This is where meaning replaces anxiety. You no longer chase constant pleasure, you build quiet strength. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while practicing inner restraint. His power came from mastery, not domination. When you let go of ego, you gain stability. When you accept limits, you find freedom. Life remains unpredictable, but you become reliable. This is the Stoic elevation. Not excitement, not escape, just grounded presence. A man at peace with himself cannot be easily disturbed. He carries calm into every situation because it is internal. This is not emotional numbness. It is clarity without noise, strength without display. Stoicism is not a philosophy you admire. It is a discipline you live. These habits are simple, but they are not easy. They require consistency, quiet effort, honest reflection. If you practice them daily, your mind changes, your reactions slow, your emotions stabilize. You stop being dragged by circumstance. You begin to move deliberately. This is not about becoming impressive. It is about becoming grounded. Peace is earned through discipline, not distraction. If this way of thinking resonates, continue studying it. Return to these principles. Apply them patiently. Over time, you will notice the difference. Not because life becomes gentle, but because you become composed. And composure is the foundation of self-mastery.